Hey everyone, welcome back to Let's Talk. This is a blogging tips episode, and today I am joined by Paul Andrew and Doc Kennedy and Rachel Silva, who unfortunately is unable to talk at the moment. So, Paul, why don't you get started by letting everybody know who you are and what it is you do?
Oh, well, I just drive a truck and I play with technology. My name is Paul Kennedy. I have a trucking company, and over the last 2 or 3 months, been trying to launch an international trucking podcast with several other truckers from around the world, specifically in the UK and Australia right now, but looking to expand into some other places as well. Um, and basically, I'm talking to you right now from my iPhone. I'm on I-10. I'm getting ready to go into Louisiana, and so that's kind of what's going on with me right now. I've got a couple other things going on. I went to the NAB show about 2 weeks ago, so
Nice.
that was interesting. So there's been a lot of things going on, and right now, basically, I'm kind of waiting on my my other co-host, if you will, to really get locked down to be able to start producing content. So
Very cool. Very cool. I definitely want to get into a little bit of that, what your opinions and stuff of NAB, NMX were. So we'll get to that in a little bit. Doc Kennedy, could you introduce yourself, please?
I'm Doc Kennedy.
What's up, Doc Kennedy?
So yeah, I do blog at filmmakersfocus.com. Starting a podcast I'll be releasing soon there as well. And also a podcast at thedreamwarriors.net. And guess that pretty much sums it up.
Awesome. Rachel Silva, she is a registered nurse and she does a podcast. And it's eluding me the name of it. And if it does,
Oh, Joe. Oh.
I know. If she types it in, I can. The Nurse Practitioner Show. Okay, cool.
All right, cool.
So her chat is working, uh, and she is a family nurse practitioner or practitioner as she wrote it. It's probably from her phone, so you know.
Oh. Yeah, you're doing real good here, Joe.
I'm bombing. I know it's
Yeah.
cool. All right. So and I'm of course Joe Pardo, and I run the Dreamers podcast 3 days a week at howtodream.co. You can see it right here, howtodream.co. For all my other projects, you can go to the joepardo.net, which is right here, and that'll take you to all the other projects, including my book, which released about almost a month ago now. It's crazy how fast time flies. You can get it on Amazon, Kindle, audiobook, audible.com, all that great stuff, as well as the physical copy from Amazon. Podcast Mid-Atlantic, that's my workshop, my podcast workshop that's coming up it's here in South Jersey, right outside of Philadelphia, September 12th. So check it out, podcastmidatlantic.com. So let's get started. I guess if you want to start it off, Paul, talking about a little bit about what you saw at NAB, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
um, okay, well, we talked a couple days before I pulled the trigger on actually really going. So I think it was on Friday that I actually decided I was gonna go. Called my wife and told her to find me a ticket, and at first I was just gonna just fly in for the morning and then fly out that evening, just try to make a day of it. And then after talking to another friend and finding out how many vendors and how many people were gonna be there, decided I needed to be there for 2 days. So I thought it'd be easy for me to do a red eye, getting there early Tuesday morning and taking a red eye out Thursday night to give me 2 full days there. I don't know what I was thinking. I mean, I'm not 20 years old anymore. And then at the last minute, my wife decided she wanted to go with me. So that added an additional excitement to the package. So, needless to say, when I we got there on Tuesday, the wife and I ended up just having a lovely time at the casino, and we had a nice dinner. And so I got.
Oh no, it looks like we might have lost Paul.
Bad stretch.
Yeah,
That's
that's what
what
happens
happens
when you're
when
on
you're
the road.
driving.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sometimes it's really tough.
Well,
Okay.
this is a lot of pressure on me now.
Yeah, so Mr. Filmmaker.
Come back, Paul, please.
So have
Done
you
on Tuesday. So Wednesday morning we woke up and is that me breaking up or you?
no, you broke up, and then all of a sudden you were still talking, and then you came
Can
back
you
mid-sentence.
can you turn my video off?
Uh,
That'll probably help. I don't
I
know if
don't,
you can do it. I
I
don't
don't.
know.
I mean, hold on. I'm gonna hit this button, but I'm hoping that this button doesn't kick you.
There usually should be like a video thing there, and then
No, it doesn't turn off your video. It just hides you from the broadcast.
okay. Well, so I mean, basically, what after me and you discussed like purposes of me going there, I had a couple of other conversations with some other friends, and really why I wanted to go initially is not really was was not the real reason why I needed to go. I mean, ultimately the reason why I needed to go is really to get a finger on the pulse of the industry of broadcast, where it's going. The fact that I'm trying to do a trucking show, live from the truck. Nobody is doing that yet. So I'm still, that was one of the things that, the different types of cameras and broadcasting. That stuff's not ready prime time for the little guy. It's basically, the Black Magic booth and all these other. I mean, what they're doing is for like newscasters, right? Like a news reporter would be out in the field and would be able to take that video and that audio and beam it back to the van, right? And then the van would beam it up to the satellite. So I mean, there's no real consumer people doing what I was doing. So really, there's not any products at that show. But by the same token, I wanted to see the new mics and things for podcasters. And I didn't see anything really new. I just I knew that as long as I just keep plugging away and trying to use Google Hangouts, using Skype. The new Skype's coming out with the new HD or the Texas Skype or whatever the new version is. We'll see where everything is going, but ultimately, at the end of the day, I was just happy to see that at least Blackmagic has a device that's under $2,000. It's under $1,000 that allows switching of 3 different cameras with the HDMI signal into one computer. So that was like the main thing that I wanted to play with. But other than that, I wanted to connect with other podcasters, but unfortunately that didn't happen. I ran out of time. So next time I'll be I need to spend the whole week there to really absorb and hopefully they'll be a little bit farther along with the technology.
So, did you get to connect with anybody while you were out there? Like any people that you might have known from, the internet groups or anything like that?
No, I really didn't. I had a couple of I Facebooked a couple people. I wanted to meet up with them, but I ran out of time. The guys from Blueberry and some other guys. But I just didn't. I just ran out of time. But I mean I think that I mean the way things are going and the way podcasting is growing, the way the internet, there's things just need to get caught up. And I mean I don't know. Did you talk to a lot of people that went to the NMX side of it? I couldn't even find it. I don't even know. I think it was on the lower level of the South building, but I just never even got down there. But
Oh wow. Well, I know Rachel actually went to the to NMX, and at least I'm pretty sure she went. I mean, I've been bombing this so far. She said it was okay.
yeah, I mean, I liked going to the best part of it is like walking into the Shure booth, right, and talking and go, where's your USB XLR combo mic? Where is it? Oh, we don't have plans for them. Why not, right? And I walked into the Audio Technica booth. It's the same question. Where's your new ATR 2100? When are you going to make a mic that's not a throwaway mic? When are you going to make when is that coming out? The things that I think that podcasters need, I don't think they have any plans right now to do.
Gotcha.
Paul, did you not have your hand on the wheel for a little while?
No.
Because I saw the water come up, and then I see him both hands again.
I've seen him look back multiple times, which really makes me nervous. But whatever, he's a pro.
So
don't question my driving ability. Come on now.
I ain't questioning nothing, man.
I was just asking if both your hands are not on the wheel, because like I said, I saw one go up and then the other one's over here, and you're talking, and I see the wheel going.
Like when I talk on the CB, right? Talk on the CB, I got a shift, right? Come on. Does that make you feel better? Have my hand right there.
Yeah. 10-2, Paul. 10-2.
I know, 10-2, right.
So Rachel said that the awards were more interesting, and she got lost in the NAB rooms. They were huge.
Oh yeah.
So since this is supposed to be more, this talk is actually supposed to be more geared towards blogging and stuff like that. What stuff have you guys run into lately with your websites?
In what regard?
Well, I mean, about maybe producing content or driving traffic to it, or things that you've come across that work better than like something new that you've discovered.
I'll say something that I don't like.
Okay.
I would like to utilize Instagram better, but because they don't allow for links, it pretty much negates a lot of traffic that could be made through there. So I could put up the picture of what the blog picture, but I can put a link in there, but you have to work to get that link out. So you have to actually copy it out and paste it. There's no direct on it, which would be nice.
So what Rachel just said was, on Instagram you can change your link in your profile, in your photo, and in your photo refer to the profile link.
Yeah, but it still does the same thing, doesn't it, Rachel? Like, you still have to copy and paste out.
I don't know. I'm gonna check on Instagram myself here.
I guess I could research it too, but
let's see. Oh no, the link does work. So you can, so I guess what you would have to do is every time you post a picture and you wanted to refer to a new link, you have to write it in the. Yeah, that's a bit of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just said yes. But if you had it so that maybe if you set up your site or a specific site for Instagram that goes right to like maybe where the pictures are or something, some kind of landing page for people to go to right from there.
I just see a lot of missing action when there is action, That you get likes all the time and they got nothing to go to.
Right.
I'm not going to copy and paste, so why would I expect anybody else to?
Wait, are we basically just talking about putting your Instagram feed on your website? Is that what we're talking about?
No, I'm talking just posting on Instagram and having a link available to go to the blog,
Well,
Oh, you mean from your profile section where you can put your website in
No,
there?
no, from just a post in the comments. So like, I share
Oh,
about what the post is about and have a link in there, but you have to go in there and copy it and put it in the
yeah. And so like
URL.
what I've been doing, especially like on my YouTube videos, I'll make a 5-second video with the Instagram app, right? And say,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I got a new video up. I got 15. I just put up. Go check out my YouTube channel and go check out my new video. And then I'll just
Oh,
put the
okay.
link. And obviously they're gonna have to cut and paste it. It doesn't
Okay.
link up.
Yeah, that's a good
You know,
idea.
Foursquare was kind of the same way, and then they changed it where, I mean, when Foursquare first started, links didn't show up, and then eventually they changed it. But I don't even use
Well,
Foursquare
I
anymore.
don't
So
blame Instagram because you'd essentially be leaving their site. So I don't blame them for that, but it's just sort of unfortunate.
yeah. Well, Doc, as a side note, I did get a new camera. I
Oh,
got the
nice.
D5500 to try out. I
Sweet.
know I'm going to take it back, but we'll talk
That's
about that
awesome.
later if Joe wants to talk about it.
yeah, we could talk
Yeah.
about that. We could talk about that. I'm interested in cameras as well.
So okay, so that was one of the things that at the NAB show that I was just enamored with how big the Canon and the Nikon. I mean, it was ridiculously large. How many sections within the booth that Canon had. Like they had like the site for wildlife photographers where they had like a
Yeah.
Jeep and then it was all decked out with the cameras on top of it. I was like, ooh, shiny. I was like, I want to stay here for a minute. And, they had cameras behind it, and I guess at each section they were filming it. And then you walk a little farther, and there was some old timer that was talking about his trip to Africa, and like I said, there was all this action going on. It
Yeah.
was just like, ooh, look, a squirrel. So one of the things that I really kind of wanted to kind of up my video game level is to go from the webcams and to try to get into a better camera. And so I even talked to Doc Kennedy about this probably about 2 months ago or about a month ago.
Hmm.
What is the best DSLR camera to be able to do podcasts with or to do video for YouTube videos. And I mean that question, you ask 10 people, you get 10 different answers. And so then
Sure.
it becomes what format are you able to record in? Do you want to future proof your videos? Is it worth it to go to 4K right now, or is it better to get a higher quality 1080p like the D70, the Canon D70, or
Mhm.
like right now if you go to Sam's Warehouse, you can get the 2 camera kit for Nikon with their new camera, the D5500, for about $1,100, and it comes with 2 lenses. Or you can get the D70, the Canon, for about $1,300. But that camera's like 3 years old or 2 years old. So, where do you wait and go get the Samsung NMX1 that's about $1,500, which records in 4K? And I'm not a photographer, so all I'm going to do is go buy them and then try them out and return them, and then when I get my money saved up, pick one. So
What are you thinking of this one so far?
well, the fact of the matter is okay. Well, there's 2 bad things on the video aspect of it. The autofocus is really loud, like
Okay.
extremely loud. So
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to be using an autofocus, unless you're at a concert or you're at a sports game, I mean, it's like fingernails on a chalkboard. It's that bad. So you obviously have to plug in an external mic to get rid of that, because the stereo mic is right on top of the camera. So that's the first thing I don't like. And then also with the Nikon, you have time limits. So if you want to film in 1080p with 60 frames per second, you
Yeah.
can only do it for 10 minutes.
Yeah. That's the same with Canon.
Well, with Canon, can't you
12.
use the what's it called, the Magic
Yeah.
Lantern?
Yeah. You can use Magic Lantern and bypass it.
So now I was looking at, and Doc, I remember you telling me about that, but I had no clue what that was.
Yeah.
And so this morning when I was looking into the D70, I saw that, and course, it's the same scare like they did with with your cell phones, right? Don't put a new ROM on it or you might brick it. So
Sure.
I guess it's the same type deal. You just got to make sure you got a right build of it, and then
Yeah.
you should be fine. So I don't know.
I did a blog post on Magic Lantern a couple weeks ago, and it's basically more of a link to a video, but it explains very well the pros and cons of Magic Lantern. And really the biggest con is, yeah, it could break your camera, but it's not highly likely.
Right. Like lightning has to flash, and you got to be standing on one leg, and all of a sudden it's right.
And I'm sure it was much worse when they first launched, but I haven't heard of anyone that I know of have that happen.
So, did any of you guys know anything about the 4K cameras, the video, or anybody using any of that stuff?
A little bit.
Yeah, I know someone who just got one of the Canon ones. It was like $1,000.
That was it?
Yeah, Canon.
Oh, it had to have been more than that.
Yeah,
No.
More than that. The Canon one's it's like $3,500.
Yeah.
No, he
Blackmagic's
posted it.
$4,000.
He posted the order link, the order stuff on his Facebook. That's that's the reason I know.
Was it used?
Not
to my knowledge. Even if it was, come on, you're gonna tell me it's a third of the price of what you guys are just saying?
Well, yeah. No, okay, so like the only $1,000 4K camera is the Sony.
Hold on, let me see here. I'm looking.
Now the one I really want is
they are dropping pretty quick.
They are, and the Panasonic X100 that's the one that I want. It's like it retails
is that
$35.
The camcorder?
Yeah, and it's like less than like 2 pounds or something, and
okay,
it's supposed to be amazing. And it's the only 4K camera that films in 60 frames per second.
Oh wow.
So this is a Panasonic that's a 4K. It has a built-in twin video camera.
Joe, you should just change the name of this episode.
Let's talk cameras.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I think that 4K camera, or the 4K, right? I mean, as long as you can get the original, get an uncompressed file, I think that's the most important thing if you're gonna invest in a 4K camera, right? Because you don't want to get a 4K camera that's stuck on a format that's not, because it's already compressed. You want to have the ability to, even though that file is going to be absolutely huge, but then you can edit it and manipulate it and do whatever you want. But if it's already compressed, like it seems like that's what the Sony does, right? I think the Sony has its own format.
Probably.
So.
Which Sony are you guys talking about? Because here's a $1,000 Sony that's a 4K, and there's another 4K from Panasonic that's only $830.
I'd be really leery of those. That just seems too low. That's my opinion.
Yeah, no,
4K.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Just the price at $1,000 for a 4K. I mean, there's 1080s are still in the 1,000 range, so that doesn't sell me on my confidence in it. You get what you pay for. So
the Google camcorders, it'll show you. Right, there's only like 6 of them, and one of them is the GoPro 4K. And,
okay.
And I guess that's sub below 2,000. And then the Panasonic. The DSLR
I can only
one.
imagine how big those files are.
Yeah.
The biggest problem is the massive file size.
Trying to upload that anywhere. I mean, even to and this guy David DeFranco, he's a YouTuber. So it's interesting that he would go with the 4K. I mean, I don't know if he has Fios over where he lives. He only lives like one town over from me, but without Fios, like. A 10 megabits per second upload, which is about what you're going to get around here with Comcast. It takes forever to upload 1080p, 720p.
Yeah.
Really anything, it takes forever to upload.
Yeah.
You know, when I was searching last night on like I wanted to check on the status of Google, increasing. And did you know, like, if you go in and you type in Google 4K videos, Google has like 6 videos that are like from all over the world that are 4K. Like when you go to click the button and it usually says 1080p and you select it, and you go to on that YouTube page, you can click it and it goes to 4K, and it's
Wow.
like and of course none of them are American videos. They're all like there's like one of like 4 girls singing from China and then like another one from the UK or somewhere.
Okay.
It's like a computer uh, game, but itching it on my MacBook Pro, which I don't know what the Retina is, a 25K or I don't even know what it is on my 2014 Retina, but it's not 4K. So like when it renders it in that YouTube video, is it really rendering 4K worth of data? And how does it render the picture? So like if it has all the data and you don't have a 4K, like how all that works that's what I need somebody real smart to explain that to me.
I'm going to defer to Doc on that one.
Yeah, we've got some methods of that, and I should just do a video on that. I couldn't really explain it because I haven't done it myself. It's my buddies that are doing it, and I haven't jumped in with watching what they're doing. But
well, I got to get the answer because like when my wife goes, "Why do you need a 4K camera if no one's using 4K camera?" I'm like, "Well, honey, this is from what I know. Or, a 1080p camera is great, but a 4K camera, when you downstep to 1080p, that picture is better than the 1080p picture. Well, how come?" I'm like, I don't know how to answer that.
The biggest issue I could see you having, Paul, in using that in your truck would be, at least with the Black Magic, it really stinks in low light. So I don't, if you're doing
the only reason I even would want a 4K camera is to future-proof my videos, not to broadcast with 4K.
Oh,
but
okay,
just to have that and then be able to downsize it, and then later on. So then in 18 months, when everyone goes to 4K and above, I'm gonna have my original file, my original content in 4K. So that would be the only reason. I don't need it. I mean, it's just
okay.
Right? So. Radio silence.
Oh, yes. So,
Joe, this is your part.
Yes.
This is where you jump in.
Sorry, somebody was like totally killing my Twitter feed. Anyway, so.
Hey, Joe, do you have your Twitter feed on your website?
No, I do not.
I do.
Do you like that? Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I like it. It adds a little excitement on the page, and also it shows that I'm active elsewhere, and I think it adds a nice element.
So I was playing around, and I knew nothing about web development 3 months ago. So when I started my web page, but over the last 3 or 4 weeks, I've been wanting to kind of get off the Divi theme into something a little less complicated, where I want to have all my posts archived. I want it real simple, clean, and getting it off of that Divi theme. I've just been trying new plugins, and I found the Instagram plugin, and I put the Instagram plugin on my front page and my LinkedIn page. So it doesn't look right, but it's all there on the Truckers Podcast when you go to that front page.
Nice.
And I don't know. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out what is the simplest theme to have your podcast on. What are you using something a little bit more complicated for a reason, or are you using the simplest, or what are y'all's strategies on that?
You want to go first, Doc?
Oh, go ahead, Joe.
Oh, all right. So I use a theme. I'm looking at your site right now, Paul. I use a theme called Vantage because it's super customizable and it comes with built-in like page builders, and it's awesome. The only downside to the one that I have is the featured images. They go to the top of each post, and by default, if you don't use another plugin to fix it, the default image is huge and takes up a ton of space. But outside of that, like I've used it for many websites that I build because it comes with a built-in way to do a slider at the top if you want to do a slider. It comes with a bunch of widgets. It's for like $15 you can get a ton of value out of having that theme, and it's compatible with like WooCommerce and Marketplace and all these other stores that you can put into your site. So for me, it makes a lot of sense. If you're looking for something specifically for podcasting, there's Appendipity, which is Joe Casimi's company. The only problem with Appendipity is it is a bit pricey. You have to be willing to put up. I think he charges like $40 to $60 for a theme, but you have to buy the framework to make that theme work as well. Mm. So, and I think the framework is upwards of like $60. So you're in it for over $100 just for a theme. Which
and that's once a year. Is that just for once a year? You got to keep paying that, right?
You might have to on the framework, but on the theme, I don't think so. Yeah. So the framework might need it. You'd have to look into that. But Joe Casimi is a great guy. Shout out to him. I've gotten to meet him. I know that his personal story is awesome. What he's done is beautiful, and I at some point would like to support him. But I'm still pretty happy with the theme that I've chosen for now.
How much did your theme run, Joe?
It's actually pay what you want. So I gave $15, and you could pay as much as you want and just use it as much as you'd like. Okay. So that's one of the things. Like, I actually am planning on donating more money to them because I've used their theme in so many different applications. Mm-hmm. I haven't made any money with the theme yet, per se, but I'd like to support them a little bit more. They've also give great support.
What do you know about Squarespace? Is that even a good option? I heard Leo Laporte talking about it.
Well, from what I understand, Squarespace, you have to pay for it. Mm-hmm. And from my understanding, I could be totally wrong on this. From my understanding, you have you basically. You pay for Squarespace, and they give you access to everything you would need, like plugin-wise and everything. That's awesome, but in my, I've had experiences with other website building platforms, and my problem with those were if the plugins that they offered didn't do what I wanted it to do or how I wanted it to do it, like usually it would be like 95% awesome, and then you get like one or two options in the plugin that just made the theme or something on the website just didn't look right, or the spacing was a little weird. Mm-hmm. You're stuck. There's no other plugins to go to, and that's what I know of it. Now with WordPress, obviously, there's 1,000 of other plugins that I could try, and one of them will probably work. What about you, Doc?
That's one of my biggest reasons for using WordPress is because so many people use it. I can reach out and easily get a question answered. If I start using other stuff, it's not as likely. I did look into Squarespace a little bit, and it wasn't worth what I was going to be missing out with WordPress, to me, anyway.
With that said, WordPress can get very slow in a hurry, especially on shared hosting. I use DreamHost, and they offer something called DreamPress, which is a super highly optimized version, like server that it's like shared service, but it's all optimized and super fast. They also do backing up of your website periodically, so you don't have to back up your website. It's there in the FTP folder. But it's
How much does that run?
$20 a month.
Oh.
Yeah, so it is a little pricey, but I use it for my I use that for my podcast, and I use shared hosting for my blog. Really, it should be the other way around, because the podcast. Well, I don't know. I get more traffic on my podcast site than I do on my blog. Ironically enough. Yeah. So I don't know. I probably should just be paying for both. But then that's $40 a month, and so I'm okay with the blog being a little bit slower. But one of the things you could do is you just got to go through and you got to get rid of plugins. Anything that you're not using, delete it. And then there's other ways to go down that rabbit hole. But were you thinking about really switching to Squarespace, Paul? You there, Paul? No, I guess he's not there. I guess we lost him. I'm sure he'll pop back in. So I mean, WordPress.
Maybe he got pulled over.
How do you explain all that, right?
Yeah. Officer, I was just doing a Google Hangout.
I mean, Doc, with your what was I gonna say? With your experience, I mean, are you just using shared hosting on your websites?
Yeah, I just use Bluehost straight up, and for the podcast, I use Libsyn. And right now, depending on how many podcast episodes you're doing, they've got different rates for that. So right now, I'm doing $7 a month because I haven't released Filmmakers Focus yet. So when I do that, then I'll up it up to the $15 package. And then since I'm doing Filmmakers Focus seasonally, once the season is over, I'll be able to drop it back down to the $7 package.
So how come you don't utilize just a folder in your like a folder on your shared service to handle that?
Honestly, I haven't looked into it. This was an easy route for me, and there's some stuff that I want to learn and get into, and there's other stuff that it's easier for me to just go, $7, sure.
Hey, I mean, I agree. Like I said, I'm paying $20 just to host the one site, and then for the rest of it is like, I don't know, $3 or $4 a month. So it does add up, but at the same time.
Well, so does $7, but or 15 or whatever. I know other podcasters are using SoundCloud, and I think that's 15, no options. So it would be interesting. I don't know, Joe, if you've done a blog or video or podcast on how you do all your setup, but that would be an interesting one to do.
Yeah, apparently, because a lot of people apparently are paying for Libsyn or these hosting services when they're not driving that kind of traffic to even warrant a separate server to host it in the first place.
Yeah, which would probably put me in that boat.
I'd put me in that boat.
I'm in that boat right now too, and the reality is, I mean, to get started, right, you got to have something. So, I mean, that's just, I mean, I got in line and did what the top 10 podcasting consultants are telling everybody to do, right? And so, one of the things that me and my my co-host from the UK, we've there's several different ways to do it, for a lot less money. And there are other, up and coming technologies, like if this whole thing with.
Oh no, did we lose him again?
Must have gone under a bridge.
Yeah, a really, really long bridge.
Paul!
No, I'd like to do that actually. I wouldn't mind doing setting
You
something up
should.
like that.
Yeah,
You know,
you should
especially since I'll be doing, it'll
I go to
definitely be
change it.
part.
for your school.
Yeah, well, for the school as well as for the school the school that I'm setting up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
No, I thought you were talking about the kids that I'm
No,
teaching
yeah, I know you
in the
were
middle school.
The
saying
kids, the kids.
that.
So yeah, I definitely I'm gonna eventually get around to making that video, and honestly, they'll probably put that video out for free just because of the fact, like, not just as part of the school, but
Yeah,
separately because it seems like an awful lot of people that I talk to are paying for a service that they don't really necessarily need.
yeah,
And I mean, I was getting 10,000. I got 10,000 downloads in 1 month and had no problem with my
really.
shared service. Yeah,
Oh,
so I don't I don't see a problem with doing
how
it.
do you go about tracking stats for downloads then?
I use Blueberry for that.
Okay,
So it's part of the PowerPress plugin. You just tell
okay,
it, you know, it'll actually track all that stuff when you put the link for like where it's at. So mine's like howtodream.co/pod and then
okay,
slash the episode number.
okay.
And then each episode, like each post, I'm putting in that link instead of putting in my Libsyn link like you would.
Okay.
I'm putting in that thing. Another way that you could do it, and it depends on your host. You could just upload those files straight to the media browser.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the host again. Like my host allows only 64 megs at a time, so some of my files are bigger than 64 megs because I run my audio quality pretty high.
That's all right.
So, but if I had run it lower, I probably could just upload it to the media, and then just get the direct download link and you pop that in your PowerPress plugin.
Okay. Can you maybe do this soon, Joe? Because we could totally use this for Podcast Washington.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could.
I know you don't have anything going on.
Yeah, I can. Let me put it on my. Let me put it on there, on my to-do list.
Yeah.
Hey, did y'all? Before I got cut off, did you hear what I was saying about Spotify hosting a podcast? Have y'all heard
No.
any new news or anything on that?
No.
That was
Okay,
when
so
we
the
figured you went under a bridge.
Right, or into the Mississippi River, one of the
Yeah.
two. Because my hands aren't on the wheel, right?
But looking
no,
back.
right. Well, I gotta look everywhere. No, I guess November 15th, last year, 2014. If you go Google Spotify podcast, there was a big rumor mill for about 2 weeks that they were going to do it, and then I think in mid-January they start talking about it again. But if that happens, man, hello, let's change the business model. They pay me to listen to my podcast, 0.002 cents per download, right? And so, the established hosting companies are not very, happy about that. I don't even know how they would do that, or I guess you would have to upload just like, I have a couple friends that are on Spotify, the up and coming artists, right? So they pay a licensing service for their music, and then that company takes it and distributes it to Spotify and does all that stuff. I don't know how that would work, but man, that's what needs to happen. We need to get paid for our content, not we pay someone else to host our content.
Well,
I
read an article not too long ago, and it was talking about, I think it was Pharrell Williams had a big song out, and I can't remember what it was, but he got paid like just not much at all off of all these downloads, millions of downloads on Spotify. So it wasn't, they were talking about how he's getting ripped off.
Well, how are you going to prove that, I mean, you are trusting that they are telling you exactly what the downloads are.
Oh, yeah, they got the downloads, but they're just not paying anything on them.
Well, I mean, Taylor Swift was the one that they called Spotify piracy.
Yeah.
There's no way to prove that you can't check them. They can tell you whatever they want to tell you.
Yeah.
And not only that, but with those numbers, they can control the perception of who's most popular.
Yeah. Well, I guess what I'm saying is that the advertisement end for it, I guess, of having a podcast on a network like Spotify would be worth more than anything being paid to me in dollars.
Right. Well, okay. I see what you're saying. I mean, the bottom line is these hosting companies are using people's content, and they came up with this ingenious idea that they can make money with advertisers and have the podcasters pay them to host it.
Yeah.
And so
you're spot on, Paul. I'm tracking with you.
Yeah, I mean, hello, right? There needs to be, and it's funny because I got kicked out of that podcasting community, and when I posted that post up in that group, the CEO of a company made a snide comment about it, and I didn't even know who he was when he said it.
Really?
Yeah. So I mean, there are forces at play that don't want that to happen.
Sure.
So, I even with SoundCloud, right? I remember, SoundCloud was $15 all you can upload, and people are like, oh, well, you're not going to have the bandwidth to do that. I mean, every time I've gone onto SoundCloud, I've always able to listen to people's music and never had a download issue. So, I mean, I don't know. I just think that there's a lot of misconceptions out there, and people want to control. They want to make money off of your content. So, the sooner we can get control over our own content, the better. So.
Yep. I'm with you.
And I still haven't figured out why I can't create an FTP site on a Windows 7 box from my house and have people just FTP in to download it. Why can't we do that? Oh, you can't do that. Comcast will kick you off. I've had 2 people tell me, no, I've been doing it for years. So,
You can. I do something similar. I run my own website from Comcast. I don't have a business class modem or anything like that. But with that said, they do limit the amount of bandwidth per month. But it's something like 250 gigs. Now, with that said, if you're streaming like high def Netflix all day, every day, you can hit that pretty easily. If you combine that with a ton of people downloading every single day, it can be a problem. But if you're only getting 30, 40 downloads a day, it's probably not going to be a problem for you.
And if you're on Comcast, right, there are in the contracts that you're only supposed to be able to download 250 gigs a month. And I went and looked at mine and at my download for the month. When I looked, I guess it was in November and December of last year, and because me and my wife watch Netflix, every night, and I was like 450 gigs, and they hadn't said anything about, so like it's at their discretion to decide whether they want to turn your internet off, which is a scary thought in and of itself.
Well, what they can do is they can limit the speed down. So they can turn they can play with your speed. It also depends on whether or not they're determining that you're pirating, and that's what all your bandwidth is going to. The other thing is Netflix actually gave Comcast a ton of money not too long ago to get preferred access to their network. So
interesting.
I haven't followed up on it because I've been so busy. But look it up, Comcast Netflix deal, and you might be surprised what you find out. So if all your traffic is if all that traffic is coming from Netflix, they might just be looking the other way on it.
Yeah. Well, and the only reason why I even looked is I found a YouTube video of some guy in San Francisco that had his internet turned off, and there was nothing he could do about it.
Huh.
Well, again,
it's not like you can go ahead.
Well, I mean, there is something you could do about it. If you're going to use that much bandwidth to host the server and stuff, you're really supposed to get the Comcast Business Class, which is only it starts at like $100 or less actually. So it's not, and at 100, I mean, at $100 it's only like a 50-10 connection, 50 down, 10 up. But I mean, if you're really gonna go, like I used to have a Comcast Business Class here at the house, and I hosted everything. The thing was, is every time the internet went out, my server went down, and it was like, damn, I just sent out like 20 emails to people asking them if they wanted to be on this brand new show that I'm working on, and my internet's down. So now when they go to the website, as soon as they open that email, it's just going to get a dead link.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So that's when I was like, you know what? I need to just get it out of the house. And then ever since I did that, all of a sudden my internet stopped having going down as often too, at the same time. So go figure. But
so it would count if somebody, like, say I had say I had 150 meg podcast on an FTP server in my house. Anytime anybody would go ping it and download it, that just counts as 50 megs towards my whatever my uploaded, like, what if it's a 100 gigs or whatever. So that's how you would get busted by not the amount of people coming, but the amount of data going across the line.
yes,
right?
yeah, it's all by data. And last time I checked, it was 250 combined. So it's 250 up and down combined. So you could use all 250 down if you only used zero upload.
Right.
I'm gonna have to head out, guys.
No problem. We got to wrap this up. So Doc, why don't you get started by plugging your stuff again?
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, so if you want to, you can follow me at Filmmakers Focus on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can also check out Dream Warriors podcast. And yep, that's it.
Awesome. Paul, why don't you plug your stuff?
Okay, so my website's thetruckerspodcast.com, but right now I'm still in the process of building it. So if you want to come check out all the different technologies that I'm using in the truck and communicating with the other truckers, the best place is probably go to my YouTube channel, which is, you can find me, Paul Andrew Kennedy, on YouTube. And I've got all kinds of my beginning stages of podcasting with my mics and all the gear that I use, all the way up to the Google Hangouts on air, using multiple cameras in the truck. So all that stuff's up there, and obviously I'm checking out these new cameras. So in the next week or so, I'll be uploading these new DSLR cameras that I'm trying out. So
awesome.
That's cool.
And once again, I'm Joe Pardo, and this has been a Let's Talk blogging tips. You can find all my stuff at thejoepardo.net, and then everything, all the Dreamers podcast stuff at howtodream.co, which is like, hold on, where's my hands? Right here. And then Podcast Mid-Atlantic. It's a workshop. It's going to be in September. It's going to be in South Jersey, right outside of Philadelphia. It would be awesome to come. It's only $35 to come and join. So it's cheap, and it's going to be an awesome time. And the other thing is the next Let's Talk blogging. It's actually Let's Talk podcasting tips is May 4th. So May the 4th be with you on May the 4th, and it's at 8 p.m. Eastern. The next Let's Talk blogging tips will be on Monday the 11th of May. And the time will be to be determined. I'll be sending out invites. So if you want to check it out, just type in Let's Talk Blogging Tips on Facebook and join the event. Thanks again for everyone joining us.
Awesome. Peace out.
Peace. Hey, Joe, I do have